Before the first words were carved into stone, before the rise of empires or the birth of recorded history, there existed a concept, a whisper of something greater, unseen yet ever present. We call them messengers. We call them guardians. For millennia, humanity has looked toward the heavens, attempting to map the invisible architecture of the divine. This is not merely a study of myth, but an exploration of the celestial hierarchy, a complex, layered reality of beings that stand at the precipice of the infinite, bridging the gap between the mortal dust and the eternal light. Before the first chronicles were inked onto parchment, humanity looked to the stars and sensed a profound, structured design within the infinite. This was not a chaotic void, but a meticulously ordered cosmos. As ancient traditions coalesced, the concept of a celestial hierarchy emerged, a ladder of light stretching from the terrestrial realm to the very threshold of the divine. To understand the angels, one must first understand this architecture, complex tapestry of being, where each rank serves as a bridge between the mortal dust and the eternal flame. As the foundations of the Abrahamic tradition solidified, the divine began to manifest through a structured, celestial architecture. We move from the primordial forces of the ancient world to the specific, formidable messengers of the Hebrew Scriptures. Here, the angelic realm is revealed not as a gentle sanctuary, but as a place of terrifying majesty. We encounter the seraphim, wreathed in eternal, holy fire, and the cherubim, the formidable guardians of the sacred threshold, whose very presence commands a profound and fearful reverence. As the centuries progressed, the nebulous host of the divine began to take on a structured, mathematical precision. In the late 5th century, the writings of Dionysius the Areopagite revolutionized our understanding, codifying the celestial host into 9 distinct orders. He envisioned a cosmic ladder, a hierarchy of light where each tier, organized into 3 triads, ascended in proximity to the unapproachable essence of the Creator. From the burning seraphim at the highest peak to the messenger angels at the threshold of humanity, the heavens were no longer a chaotic swarm, but a magnificent, ordered bureaucracy of the sublime. The architecture of the heavens is not a chaotic void, but a meticulously ordered hierarchy of 9 orders, divided into 3 sacred triads. At the apex, the seraphim, cherubim, and thrones exist in a state of pure, burning contemplation of the divine, mere flickers of light against the infinite. Beneath them, the middle triad, the dominions, virtues, and powers, functions as the celestial architects, regulating the cosmic laws and the rotation of the spheres. Finally, at the threshold of the mortal plane, the principalities, archangels, and angels serve as the messengers and guardians, bridging the vast, terrifying expanse between the infinite and the ephemeral. As the classical era faded, the nebulous spirits of myth began to coalesce into a structured divine order. In the 5th century, the writings of Dionysius the Areopagite introduced a profound cosmic architecture. He envisioned the heavens not as a chaotic void, but as a meticulously organized ladder of 9 celestial choirs, divided into 3 distinct hierarchies. From the seraphim, who burn with the unapproachable fire of divine love, down to the lowly angels who mediate the affairs of humanity, every being occupied a precise station in the great chain of being, a celestial engine of light, order, and absolute sovereignty. In the twilight of late antiquity, the fragmented visions of the ancients were finally forged into a singular, cosmic architecture. Through the profound treatises of Dionysius the Areopagite, the celestial realms were codified into a precise, 9-fold hierarchy. He envisioned a divine ladder composed of 3 distinct triads, the highest orders, which burn in the direct presence of the unknowable, the middle orders, which govern the mechanics of the cosmos, and the lowest, which bridge the gap between the divine and the terrestrial. This was no longer mere myth, but a structured, mathematical map of the heavens, a celestial bureaucracy where every being, from the fiery seraphim to the humble angels, occupied a sacred and immutable station in the grand design of creation. As we ascend through the higher echelons of the celestial ranks, the hierarchy reaches its most inscrutable and overwhelming peak, the seraphim. Known as the Burning Ones, these entities represent the limit of what can be perceived by the finite mind. They exist not as beings with distinct forms, but as pillars of pure, incandescent energy. Their 6 wings, composed of solar flares and divine light, constantly churn in a rhythmic dance of adoration, shielding the blinding brilliance of the Empyrean. Here at the threshold of the infinite, the distinction between light and life dissolves, leaving only the terrifying, beautiful intensity of the divine flame. As the centuries turned, the terrifying splendor of the celestial host began to soften. The multi-eyed seraphim and wheel bound Ophanim retreated from the forefront of human consciousness, replaced by the graceful, winged messengers of Renaissance art. In our modern era, the angel has undergone a final transformation, evolving from a literal inhabitant of the heavens into a profound psychological archetype, representing the highest aspirations, the unseen light, and the enduring divinity within the human psyche. As the centuries marched forward, the rigid structures of the celestial hierarchies began to dissolve into the nebulous mists of modern myth. While the scientific revolution sought to map the physical heavens, the concept of the angelic realm did not vanish. Instead, it retreated into the profound depths of the human subconscious. Today, the hierarchy survives not as a strict theological blueprint, but as a persistent echo of our longing for the transcendent, a lingering shadow of the divine, waiting at the periphery of our perception, reminding us that the universe may still hold mysteries far beyond the reach of our instruments. Descending from the blinding, unapproachable fires of the highest heavens, the hierarchy shifts from the purely abstract to the profoundly personal. It is within these middle echelons, the archangels and principalities, that the divine will begins to take form. No longer merely wheels of eyes or burning wings, these beings serve as the celestial architects of destiny. They are the bridge, the messengers who step across the threshold of the infinite to whisper cosmic decrees into the ears of humanity. As we ascend through the crystalline layers of the Empyrean, the boundaries of human perception begin to fracture and dissolve. Here, in the highest reaches of the hierarchy, the seraphim exist not as mere beings, but as living flames of pure, unadulterated intellect. They are the architects of the divine light. Their very presence a complex, rotating geometry of burning wings and sacred fire, weaving the fundamental fabric of existence itself. To gaze upon this highest order is to witness the terrifying beauty of the infinite, a celestial symphony of light that resonates through the corridors of time, leaving an indelible, eternal mark upon the human soul. As the centuries marched forward, the rigid, structured hierarchies of the celestial choirs began to dissolve into the complex tapestry of modern thought. The angels of old, once viewed as literal, stratified ranks of cosmic administrators, have evolved within the human consciousness. They have transformed from terrifyingly powerful messengers of a divine bureaucracy into profound psychological archetypes, symbols of our highest aspirations, our deepest fears, and the persistent, ethereal whisper of the infinite that continues to haunt the boundaries of our scientific understanding. The hierarchy may have shifted, but the search for the celestial remains an eternal part of the human soul. As the structured tiers of the ancient hierarchies recede into the mists of antiquity, they leave behind something more enduring than dogma. The study of the celestial is more than a catalogue of ranks. It is a map of the human spirit's ascent. Though the names of the orders may fade into the shadows of myth, the impulse to reach toward the light remains unchanged. We stand at the threshold of the infinite, forever gazing through the veil, seeking the sublime resonance that exists far beyond the reach of our sight. In the final analysis, the study of the celestial hierarchy is more than a mere cataloging of the divine. It is a testament to the eternal human endeavor to find order within the infinite. As our telescopes peer into the deepest reaches of the void, the ancient descriptions of light wings and unapproachable radiance find a haunting, modern echo in the swirling nebulae and the silent majesty of the cosmos. Whether we name them angels or the fundamental forces of a complex universe, our search remains the same: to decode the unseen architecture that holds the heavens in place. As the centuries marched forward, the terrifying many-eyed visages of the ancient seraphim began to soften within the human imagination. The Renaissance transformed the incomprehensible cosmic power of the vine into something more human, more reachable, the graceful, winged messengers of classical art. Yet, despite our attempts to domesticate the celestial, the core of angelology remains unchanged. We continue to stand at the threshold of the unknown, peering into the vast, silent architecture of the cosmos, still searching for a sign, a whisper, or a glimpse of the unseen forces that move behind the veil of our perceived reality. At the absolute zenith of the celestial hierarchy, we encounter the seraphim, the burning ones. These are not mere messengers, but beings of pure incandescent energy, existing in a state of eternal, fiery adoration. Their presence is a tempest of sacred heat, where 6 immense wings weave a tapestry of light and shadow, obscuring the very essence of the divine. To behold a seraph is to witness the intersection of infinite power and infinite love, a burning flame that consumes the ego and leaves only the blinding brilliance of the primordial truth. As the medieval scholastics delved deeper into the celestial hierarchies, the comforting imagery of winged messengers gave way to something far more profound and unsettling. They encountered the ophonym, the wheeze within wheels. These were not beings of flesh and bone, but cosmic engines of divine will, vast interlocking rings of burnished gold, encrusted with hundreds of unblinking, hyper-vigilant eyes. To contemplate them was to confront the terrifying, non-human scale of the divine, a geometry of light and motion that defied the limits of mortal comprehension.